So I hated the church. Like I quit the church as soon as I could, as soon as I could as a teenager. I said, I'm never going there again. And I hated Christians. Like, honestly, guys, hated Christians. I took opportunities wherever possible to get into discussions with Christians to humiliate them and tear them apart. And that went on for many years. I was a lawyer and I was quite successful. And I had all my definitions of success. And I accomplished all of them very quickly and was empty. And what I viewed was a perfect life was a perfect life, and it was perfectly empty of meaning or purpose. And I began to have a crisis of meaning and purpose. And it got worse and worse to where I would go to work in the morning. I worked very hard. You know, lawyers, at least back in the day, we put in 14-hour days every day of the week. And I would come home tired and wonder why I did what I did today. And then I'd get up in the morning and wonder why I was going to go and do what I did. And it just got emptier and emptier. And then I remember something my grandmother said when I was 16. I was a hippie. I was rebellious, all of that. And she was the most godly person I've ever known. And she invited me into her room and sat me down. And she said, you know, Mark, if your life is ever going to mean anything and have purpose, you have to come to peace with God. And she said, I'm going to pray for you every day. And she did. She prayed for me every day that God would get a hold of me. At the age of 28, I couldn't take it anymore. And I remembered what she said. So I decided, this is a great story. This is a really cool story. It's worth the waste of time, believe me. I decided I have to look into this God thing. I just have to, because I've tried everything else and nothing's worked. But I hated the church and I hated Christians. So how am I going to pursue God when I hate the church and I hate Christians? I heard about this Bible study that was happening at somebody's house, and it wasn't related with any church. It was just a bunch of Christians my age getting together. So I decided this will be safe. This is I hate them, but at least it's not a church. So I started going to it. I was incredibly arrogant and incredibly proud. And I knew all this Bible because I grew up with it. So they would make comments about the Bible and I would correct them. And I would tell them, you don't know what you're talking about. And I was just pedantic and I was superior. I thought I'll annoy them as much as I can. So I took a bottle of Grand Marnier liqueur to drink throughout the study. And I took my pipe to smoke. So I blew smoke in their face. I drank throughout the study. And then every second sentence had the F word in it. I mean, I was an insufferable, complete, utter jerk. And unbeknownst to me, the two guys that started the studies, their wives came to them and said, if that guy is going to keep coming, we're not coming. We're done with him. We won't come to our Bible study if that guy's going to keep coming. You have to get rid of him. I don't know what provoked these two guys, but they told their wives, we're not going to get rid of him. We're going to tolerate him and we're going to love him because God loves him. And you're not going to stop coming even though he's there. I didn't even know about this. So I kept coming, being just the biggest jerk I could possibly be. And it struck me after a few months that they weren't listening to me. They weren't paying attention to me. And my pride was deeply offended because I know so much and I'm so smart and blah, blah, blah. They're not giving me the respect that I deserve. And I thought, how can I get them to respect me? And Trish, this thought came perfectly clearly like this. The thought said, well, if they thought you loved them, they would pay attention to you. And I thought, because I'm a manipulative lawyer, right? I thought, okay, how can I make them think that I love them? And I said, how can I make them think that I love them? And the thought said, well, if you didn't drink throughout the whole study, and if you didn't blow smoke in their face, and if you didn't correct them, and if you didn't have to have the last word in absolutely everything, and if every sentence didn't have the F word in it, and if you listened to them and tried to add something at the end of the evening that would be of value to their lives, they would think that you love them. And I thought, I'll do it. I'll trick them into thinking that I love them. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Controlling myself, not dominating every conversation, not ending everything with my opinion, not correcting them on their understanding the Bible. It was like having a rag stuffed into my mouth and just biting it for the whole time. But I decided I would do it. So I did that. I changed my behavior. About 6 months later, I was driving to the study. I can remember seeing my hands. I could still see my hands on the steering wheel of my car. And I was driving towards the house. This revelation popped inside of me. I love these people. I really love these people. So parked the car, ran into the house, said, guys, the most amazing thing. You're not going to believe this. This is incredible. They said what? I said, I love you. They looked at me like I was out of my mind, and they said, well, we love you too. I said, no, you don't understand. I really honestly love you. And they said, we love you too. I became their pastor, and we planted a church because the group kept growing. And that was the beginning of this wonderful, wild ride.